An ongoing legal storm has struck the golden heart of Hollywood, and at its center, under the full blaze of the public eye, stands Blake Lively. No longer the flawless face of Pinterest perfection, but a woman unraveling at the seams of a scandal she once believed she could control. The courtroom was never meant to be her stage. Not like this. Not with this script. Yet Blake Lively, once the darling of curated luxury, designer charm, and boutique lifestyle branding, now finds herself caught in a web spun from her own secrets, her own silence, and the one betrayal she never saw coming: Taylor Swift. What began as a quiet legal skirmish, filed with polished lawyers and hushed voices, has spiraled into a media inferno. The kind of spectacle that forces people to choose sides, abandon heroes, and reassess everything they thought they knew about fame, friendship, and the price of public deception. And in the eye of that storm, Judge Curtis Lennox didn't just preside, he exploded. Blake's courtroom presence was as manicured as ever. Lip gloss, soft curls. The calm confidence of someone who has walked countless red carpets. She strolled in as if it were another press junket, expecting the kind of procedural yawn fest her lawyers promised her. Instead, she got a legal crucifixion. It started with what should have been a routine evidentiary hearing, but turned into a historic collapse. Judge Lennox, known for his stoicism, stormed out of court. Not once, twice, in 2 separate sessions. The catalyst: redacted financials, NDA-covered misconduct, and explosive testimony that would make a studio executive sweat through a 3-piece suit. This wasn't just about contracts. This was about cover-ups, hush money, and a trail of suppressed truth that had reached its final junction: federal court. The centerpiece of Blake's unraveling? Her long-forgotten lifestyle brand, Preserve. Once sold as a passion project, Preserve was marketed to be a window into Blake's wholesome heart. Mason jars, handmade soaps, heartfelt blog posts. It was her post-Gossip Girl reinvention. But what the world didn't see was the rot behind the rustic charm. According to whistleblowers and former employees, Preserve wasn't a business. It was a dictatorship disguised in warm filter tones. Employees overworked, underpaid, gaslit into silence. Victims of verbal abuse, shady payouts, and meticulously controlled images that told one story, while hiding a much darker truth. A key moment shattered what little defense she had left. An employee, unnamed for privacy, took the stand and recalled a company retreat in Aspen in 2015. Blake, in a rage over a misdesigned deadline, allegedly threw a wine glass across the room. It didn't just hit the wall. It hit a woman in the shoulder, shattering on contact, causing nerve damage and requiring 6 stitches. That same woman received a $40,000 hush check, was forced to sign an NDA under duress, and the entire incident was documented as a kitchen accident. That's how Preserve worked. Silence was always on sale, and justice was always photoshopped. Judge Lennox's response? He slammed his gavel so hard it echoed beyond the courthouse walls. And then he walked out again. But it didn't end there. Witnesses provided internal Slack messages filled with jokes about Blake's temper tantrums. Financial records, initially turned over with glaring redactions, were exposed as doctored. Entire columns of payouts labeled PR expenses turned out to be hush money settlements. 5. Totaling over $200,000. All buried like scented candles in a corporate report. When questioned, Blake's team claimed clerical discretion. Judge Lennox didn't buy it. He didn't need to. Holding the original and the redacted side by side, he made one thing clear. Blake wasn't just hiding the truth, she was erasing it. With a Sharpie and a smile. But what truly torched Blake's credibility wasn't the wine glass. It wasn't even the hush money. It was Taylor Swift. The pop icon was subpoenaed to testify, having received a flood of emotional texts from Blake in the weeks leading up to the hearing. In court, Taylor confirmed Blake tried to manipulate her into offering a public defense. Taylor refused. And when she did, Blake allegedly snapped. In a now infamous text, later leaked by a former PR executive, Blake wrote, "This friendship lives or dies by loyalty." Taylor's response? That's not how loyalty works. One sentence, one bullet, one friendship buried. Judge Lennox called it witness manipulation. Taylor's calm, factual testimony pulled the curtain down on Blake's entire strategy. Emotionally extort loyalty, bury the truth in charm, and parade sympathy as strategy. In a last-ditch effort, Blake's team filed an amicus brief. It cited California laws designed to protect sexual assault survivors from retaliatory defamation lawsuits. There was just one problem. It was a New York case. The judge wasn't impressed, especially since the brief was filed 2 months late and accompanied by a PR campaign designed to make Blake the face of victimhood. It didn't work. Because behind every lavender-scented legal stunt, there was a trail of broken NDAs, destroyed careers, and victims who had been silenced by a woman they once trusted. One victim's testimony summed it up best. "She smiled in our faces, then made sure we couldn't speak." And just when you thought the narrative had peaked, came the final nail. Bernard Collins. Once painted as the villain of Preserve, Bernie was outed as a scapegoat. Leaked chat logs revealed Blake knew everything. Not only that, she enabled it, even encouraged it. When complaints were raised, she dismissed them as overblown and instructed her team to keep one staffer because she photographs well. Her image obsession was so deeply rooted that her internal culture wasn't just toxic, it was strategically cruel. Even Bernie's lawyer turned on her, declaring in court that Blake's office was the architect of the abuse. Not a bystander, a mastermind. And so now, the Instagram-perfect facade is shattered. The woman who once defined curated class is now defined by control, coercion, and cover-ups. Her legal team disbanded. Her friends distanced. Her brand, her credibility, and her career scorched. All that's left now is Blake, alone in the ruins of the world she tried to build with filters and fairy tales. Do you believe Blake Lively orchestrated a grand deception behind her wholesome image? Was Taylor Swift right to stay silent, or should she have defended her longtime friend? Is Hollywood finally confronting its culture of power, PR, and manipulation? Or is this just the latest fall from grace in a cycle that never ends? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.